We've stepped up and made a difference. We stood in that gap.
The way that we look at it is a child no matter where they are. They could be in Afghanistan, they could be in India, they could be in Ukraine. If they're hungry, they're hungry. If they're cold, they're cold. If they don't have a coat to wear in the wintertime, it's just, and we can provide that, then we would like to be able to help as many children as we can.
It's absolutely astounding to me to see the difference in the children's appearance. They're cleaner, they're better fed, and that's very obvious. The little plump babies that we see now, we never saw in the beginning. It was always malnourished, a look in their eyes that you can't describe. It was a faraway look, but now they know, the older ones know why we're there, and they come greet us.
Our role has changed over the years in Ukraine. We've gone from crisis management, making sure there's enough food to get kids through the winter, making sure there's enough medicine, making sure the buildings are structurally sound, to now it's ongoing support to help abandoned children make the transition into society. We feel that is probably our biggest role in Ukraine right now, because we have a 4 to 5 year window as these children come into transition homes to touch their lives for eternity.
Any trip that we go on is open to somebody that would call and say, you know, I'd like to travel with you. I'd like to see I'd love to take people and show them what we do.
Right now we're in basically 5 orphanages, and with our transition homes, you know, it's hard to even put a number to how many children have been through there and that have benefited from the Hopeful Hearts organization and all the generosity from our donors.
Bob and I were watching some pictures from this last blessing bag trip on the computer the other night that somebody had sent me a disc of pictures. And he commented on, you know, there was a little boy standing there opening and he had a nice sweater, and his hair was clean, and his little cheeks were fat, and, you know, he was pleasant looking, and he said, it doesn't look like the same place. You know, when I first went 10 years ago to get Ola, she wore the same pink sweater and little red plaid skirt the entire time we were there. And Jess said one day when we were going in, it was toward the end, and she said, I know they will have put something else on her today. She was filthy yesterday. And they had changed it. They had turned the sweater wrong side out and put the dirty clothes next to her and the clean underneath side out. You don't see that anymore. You know, the kids have clothes, they have tights, they have good shoes that the toes aren't cut out so that their toes can hang over the edge. Just major differences in their physical appearance.
Because of Hopeful Hearts?
Because of Hopeful Hearts in those 5 places, yes.
I don't think it means as much without the consistency. I think there are groups that go in one time, do a nice thing, and then they're gone. But I think the children seeing the same people come back year after year, month after month, really gives the children hope. And that's very important for them to know that there's truly somebody that cares about them and that they will be back.
You know, the kids are well fed. The kids are much better clothed. The kids have the medicine they need. The orphanages are cleaner. The cleaning supplies are there. The personal hygiene supplies are there. It's just kind of an ongoing, we've got a rhythm there now, and it's going well.
We feel very good about the transition homes. We are giving these children coming out, and they are children, coming out of the orphanages, a chance at life that they will never have otherwise. And it's a stark difference in the environments that they grew up in.
The orphanages, no matter what we do, they're big, cold, dark buildings. And now they are living in a warm, bright home with nice furnishings and parents that they've never had before. So it's, I think, one of the best things that we've ever done as far as Hopeful Hearts.
And I've seen the difference that those girls have had, being in the transition home. I think it's a sense of hope, a sense of pride. I'll never forget the first time I visited, and we were there to kind of visit with them, open gifts with them, and the girls had made us a meal. And it was a very nice meal. They made soup and sandwiches for us. And they were just so proud to be able to serve that meal that they had done themselves.
The transition homes have been just a real joy. God kind of placed that in our hearts a while back. As you know, when we went out and saw the street children, that's kind of one of those things that has just never been able to escape my mind, is to see these kids living in the crawl space of a building with just no hope and no real future, no real education, no way to get a job, nothing to eat, and instead their lives consist of sitting there sniffing glue and just zoning out until sometime when they die.
We have gone into these orphanages and we have redone their rooms. We have provided new furniture. We have put new beds, new mattresses. They have clothes, and we're never going to turn our back on those food and medical and nutritional. But how can we continue to lay linoleum when there's 15 little girls in India that are going to lose their home? It's just, you have to weigh the need. And we just feel like that we've been given these opportunities. The opportunities that we're giving are coming with good accountability on the ground.
We've been extremely blessed. But before we undertake any additional expansion, we're asking ourselves, can we make a long-term, deep commitment there? And if the answer is no, we probably won't do it.
It is very heartbreaking to see a child that doesn't have any food, and they are starving. These children are starving in Afghanistan, which is where we started in Ukraine. The children there were starving, they didn't have food. The government didn't have enough money to pay them, pay the orphanages to provide the food, so Hopeful Hearts stepped in, and now we feel like the orphanage we're supporting, the kids are healthy. And we look at the kids in Afghanistan and see that these kids have nothing and they're starving. So we have to step in and do something to help them.
We're going to be funding a school in Afghanistan for street children there. These are children that don't have any opportunity for education. They'll be in our care 5 days a week. They'll get a hot meal a day. So we're going to have staff, teachers, cooks, guards. We have to have guards. It's going to be about a $40,000 a year project to run this school for these street children in Afghanistan. But 5 days a week, they're going to have a place to come. They're going to have an education. They're going to have some place that cares about them. We're partnering with Sozo International to do this, so they can be treated in Sozo's medical clinics that are there. They'll get a hot meal every day. I mean, just think what a difference that will make in these children's lives.
And if you have a heart for touching children's lives, we just ask that you give us a chance and let us show you what we're all about. Let us show you how we're changing kids' lives.
People are always saying to us, oh, it's so wonderful what you do. It's so wonderful what you do. We couldn't do any of it without them. Everything is dependent on something else. If they give their money and we don't go, then that's useless. We can't go if they don't give their money. It's not our ministry. It's everybody here tonight that is thinking about writing a check, that has written a check in the past. These kids are now depending on us. Those transition homes are depending on us. We have no choice but to go forward. God has always provided, and He will provide again this year.